The Nebula X1 is the world's first cinema-grade outdoor entertainment system. Now, I've tried to set up projectors outside before, and some of them did okay, especially towards the evening when it's getting a little darker anyway, but you're just not gonna get a great outdoor image out of a consumer-grade home projector. This thing is built different. The 4K triple laser delivers an image that is both sharper and brighter, and a lot of that beautiful image is down to the cinema-grade 14 elements all-glass lens design. Now, the icing on the cake and what makes this thing feel even more like a true outdoor cinema experience are the Wi-Fi satellite speakers that, paired with the already impressive speakers on the Nebula X1, delivers 4.1.2 surround sound, which makes this whole experience super immersive, even outdoors. Oh, and don't worry about overheating either, because the Nebula X1 is liquid cooled. I kid you not, Nebula really took things to another level with this one, so let's get into it. Let's ramble.
Hold up, place go wild when I pull up. They all on me like it wants.
Alright guys, so when I said Nebula took things to the next level, I mean they took things to the next level. Even the package they send out to reviewers is out of this world. They sent us a freaking army chest of cinema goodies, so let's have a quick look at what's inside, unbox some of this stuff before we get deep into the features and see what all this thing is capable of. This crate is unreal. Easily the most over-the-top package I've ever received to review. I love it. I could actually see this come in handy as a projector table in a backyard or something. Alright, so this is useful. They actually included the test report so you can see that all the specs and performance are actually on par with what it says on the box. Next, we have this box here. These must be the Wi-Fi satellite speakers. Really looking forward to testing these out. Then we have two wireless microphones, and these do look quite familiar. I will get back to why that is in a little bit. Next, we have another big box. They actually sent this inflatable couch. I guess this is to spruce up those backyard cinema parties. I'm sure the kids will love that. And then we have a movie clapper board, like one of those director boards. That is actually hilarious. And of course, the projector unit itself. Wow, this is a nice bit of loot, and I can't wait to try this all out. Now, earlier I said that the microphones look familiar, and the reason for that is that I recently reviewed a very good karaoke style speaker by Soundcore, which had the exact same mics. Now, Soundcore is a subsidiary brand from Anker, so this all makes perfect sense, and that means that the projector can be used for karaoke as well, which adds to the backyard fun. Alright, so let's take this thing home. Some of you regulars already know I've got a tiny little home theater set up there that is perfect for testing these projectors. It's a great way to check how easy it is to set up and to test some of its capabilities. And of course, we'll also take it outside to have some fun with the kids and to see how it holds up in daylight. Right, so here we are in our little miniature home cinema. As expected from Nebula, setting it up is super easy. The X1 has several HDMI ports, but the most important one is definitely the eARC HDMI port, because that allows me to just plug in a single HDMI cable to connect the projector to my home theater setup. I have everything set up on the other side of the room under the projector screen. There's my little Sonos surround system, my Apple TV 4K, my PS5, and a couple of other things. All of those are hooked up to an HDMI switcher, so literally all it takes to connect all of that to the Nebula X1 is one single long HDMI cable, and bam, everything just works. So if this is your first time looking at the projectors, or maybe you're upgrading from an older projector model, definitely make sure your next projector has that eARC port. Now, of course, one of the selling points of this Nebula X1 is that it comes with its own surround sound system, and we will definitely be testing that as well, but it's really great to know that it's super easy to just hook this right into your existing system as well. Now that we've got the hardware all sorted, the next important thing I always look out for when I test these projectors is how easy and how well they adjust to a new space. I don't want to spend hours tinkering with a device to get the image right, so having really solid auto adjustment features is high on my priority list, and as you probably expected, the Nebula X1 definitely delivers here too. As soon as you turn on the projector, you can see the micro gimbal working, and it starts the AI spatial adaptation, whereby it will actually scan your space and adjust the image to your space, and it does all of that in like 10 seconds. Now, the wall in our little home theater is pretty complicated. There are some poster frames, there's a projector screen, but even with all that, it does a good job at finding where it should be projecting. From there, it only takes me a few manual tweaks to get the perfect image, and here the move and zoom function really comes in handy. Most projectors have only one throw ratio, a single one with no optical zoom, so this makes it so much easier to adjust things. Now I have the projector set up at an angle. It's a bit of a weird angle, that's just the way the room is set up. So I like to do a tiny bit of tweaking with manual keystone correction to get that image perfectly aligned with my projector screen. The screen in our little cinema is 120 inches, but the Nebula X1 can project an image up to 300 inches, which is pretty impressive. By the way, I really want to stress here how helpful this micro gimbal is, because it means you can set this projector at different heights, even on the floor, and it will find the exact right angle for your wall. And we will be testing this out downstairs in the living room later as well, so you can see how it is on a blank wall. Anyway, let's put this thing to the test and have a look at the actual image. By the way, the X1 comes with full-blown Google TV built in, including native Netflix, which is a big deal, and all the other apps you might want, so you can run this projector without any peripherals, just an internet connection, and you're good to go. As you know, I'm an Apple guy, so I do have a preference for Apple TV, so I will be using that here in the home cinema, but yeah, you do not need any of that. What's cool though is that when I do use my Apple TV, I can just keep using my Nebula remote, since it will simply take over the controls of my Apple TV, which is pretty neat. I love that. Just one remote, done. Now guys, the image is, and I really have to say this, it's pretty spectacular. You get a ton of options to adjust the image to whatever you're doing, but straight out of the box, this just looks stunning. Just look how crisp these YouTube videos look. The 4K Laser Forge 2.0 triple laser is really going to work here, and remember, this is a 14 element all glass lens, and it shows. Now I decided to buy the Minecraft movie because my oldest daughter Elisa loves it and we want to watch it later today, but it's also a great way to test the colors and the vibrancy on this thing, because that movie is all about colors, and all I can say is wow. 5,000 to 1 native contrast ratio, 3,500 ANSI lumens for enhanced brightness, and the HDR tone mapping ensures that the bright parts aren't overexposed like you get in some projectors, but it also produces more details in the black areas. I picked some dark scenes for you as well, where you can really see the Nebula Master 2.0 image processing engine do its magic. Nebula claims an ultra-high dynamic contrast ratio of 56,000 to 1 in this scenario. Obviously, I have no real way of checking that actual figure, but as you can see, it looks absolutely stunning. Even though the camera never fully does it justice, it looks even better in person. You're just gonna have to take my word. I mean, aside from obviously an OLED TV or something like that, this really looks top notch, and the black levels for a projector are really, really good. Now, what you probably won't be able to tell from the video, but what I can definitely tell sitting close to the projector, is how quiet it is. Normally, projectors can get really loud, especially when they're very bright like this one. There's a lot of heat coming, so there's a lot of ventilation needed with a lot of tech on board, and that's why Nebula decided to put a liquid cooling system in this projector. I mean, we see these used on things like gaming PCs, but I don't really think I've ever seen one on a projector. But hey, it works because throughout the movie, we could not hear the projector whatsoever, because the little noise it does produce gets easily flushed out by the audio of the movie. I think it was a very smart move by Nebula to put a liquid cooler into the X1, so they don't have to compromise on image quality or brightness, and it's also the reason why Nebula was able to keep this thing pretty small, because air cooling, as we know, generally takes up way more space because you need more space in the body for heat dissipation. I also ran some quick gaming tests, and while it runs games at 60 Hz, it runs them at 4K and with an input lag of only 19 milliseconds or less, which makes for a very smooth gaming experience. I can definitely see myself gaming on this thing for a couple of hours, no problem. Right, so let's take this thing downstairs to the living room. I want to see how well it projects onto a random wall and with a lot of light coming in. And of course, I want to test those Wi-Fi satellite speakers. And here, I just want to quickly point out that it really is cool that they have a Wi-Fi connection, because unlike a Bluetooth connection where there could be a bit of latency, Wi-Fi connections generally don't have any latency, which makes the experience, the audio experience, a lot better. Now, here you can really see how good the AI spatial adaptation works. No real tweaking is needed. It does a great job at figuring out the room and adjusting it accordingly. As you can see, it's pretty bright in here, but you can absolutely watch a movie. The image is nice and bright, which makes the Nebula X1 a good option for those of you who like to replace their TVs with a projector more permanently and use it as your main content consumption device. in your living room. We won't be using it for that, but I will definitely be taking this thing with me on trips, especially with that nice carrying case. It will be perfect to bring to a little vacation rental or something like that and enjoy watching your own content. All you'll need is a Wi-Fi connection and a wall. Now, when I was setting up the satellite speakers, I was actually surprised at how good the built-in speakers on the X1 itself sound. But man, when we add the satellite speakers to the mix, it changes the entire experience.
With this orb, I will pillage the overworld, and all that's gone will be ours!
I couldn't let this happen. The overworld had saved me.
Again, a camera mic won't do it justice, but I'm sure that even through the tinny camera microphone, you can already tell how crazy this sounds. So if you're thinking about picking up an X1 and audio is important to you, definitely look into getting the accessory pack as well. Big difference. Now, of course, we had to take this thing outside as well. I mean, that is one of its selling points after all, and it did not disappoint. The kids had an absolute blast with it, and I was once again blown away at how easy it is to set this thing up. I was already thinking up all kinds of ways how I could best position the projector and where I should set it down, but I could literally just set it down on the little table in front of us, and the gimbal did the rest. And you can clearly see that this thing is way bright enough to function well outside. So guys, what can I say? I'm definitely impressed with the Nebula X1, especially when you view it as a package with the speakers and everything. A lot of brands like to use a lot of hyperbole when marketing their products, and I do take that with a big pinch of salt before I start testing these things. But I think in this case, promises were delivered, and I can absolutely recommend the Nebula X1. If you want to pick one up for yourself, there will be links in the description below the video as always, including any discount codes. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it one of these. Thank you so much for watching, and see you guys in the next one.